She is just the perfect person, I think, to talk about. We talked earlier in the year, the 1st of January, about self-love, and it's Valentine's. So Valentine's is the day after tomorrow, and we always forget. We're always thinking about other people, but Lorilee, who's an Ayurvedic practitioner, Ayurvedic massage therapist, yoga instructor, nutritional guru. I've been to her cooking classes, amazing. Just offers so much to the community about health and wellness. She's doing workshops in the community, and she's going to talk to us today about just some simple things about loving yourself and being your own Valentine, because I think sometimes, thank you for being here.
Thank you for having me.
I think sometimes we forget we're in this fast-paced society, and it's about who we are and becoming bigger and all these things that we all deal with, right? And so why not pause and take time to love ourselves? And what does that mean, really? Well, there's a lot of wonderful things out there that are happening today. We feel the shift. People are becoming more mindful. So becoming mindful with yourself, it starts with ourself. So what are some of the things that you're thinking about today to help us and get a better understanding of the simple things we can be doing?
Absolutely. First of all, I think it's really important to draw awareness to our self-talk. Listen to what's going on in our mind, and even the words that we speak out, we need to understand that when we speak, we say it in our mind first. So we are the first ones to hear anything that we say.
So true.
And it was interesting this morning. I was preparing for this and stumbled upon this Rumi quote. I love Rumi. On Tuesdays on my Instagram and Facebook, I always do Rumi Tuesdays, which is a quote from Rumi. But this just like popped up and it was perfect. Your task is not to seek for love, but merely to seek and find all the barriers within yourself that you have built against it. I'm going to say this one more time because this is important. Your task is not to seek for love, but merely to seek and find all the barriers within yourself that you have built against it.
Wow.
That's from Rumi. And so I think we are always so busy loving others, and we need to kind of look at that are we loving others to receive love back? And then that kind of turns into a codependent type of love, rather than being established in ourselves in love. And then we have this confidence that we can love because we are love, and we're established in that love, and we're not loving to seek love, but we are loving because that's who we are, and we know we are worthy of love because it is our innate nature to be love. And so once we are established in that, then we're not going to be worried about what other people think about us or what their opinion of us or whatever, because we know we're established in love and we are just doing our dharma. So when you are in your love, then you're in your dharma, because love is about service. And everyone has a specific dharma, but it's all based in service. And that is how we can truly love others, by simply being established in it.
It's really finding your truth, and it's hard for many people, or they may listen to you and go, easy for her to say, right?
But it's still a practice that, those samskaras, those mental and psychological ditches in our psyche that, the negative thoughts and the negative thought patterns and the belief systems. As one of my teachers, Jaidev Singh, he says, we all know what belief systems are, BS.
Whoa. The past is the past. Leave it alone, let it go, and the future is the future, but we have the present moment.
Exactly.
So it's living in the now, which can be challenging for people, but what helps people? So now we understand that self-love. We know that we need to have that self-love. What would be a good way for someone to just start beginning that? Someone who's had challenging times in their life.
Start with the breath.
Beautiful. The breath.
The breath. The breath is always informing us. the breath is always letting us know our current state. And building a relationship with the breath, allowing the breath to be calm, allowing the breath to be even. So when we have a calm and even breath, then the breath is the bridge between the mind and the body. Mm-hmm. So we have the physical body and we have the emotional, mental body, but what connects those is the breath. So I always say, if we can control our breath, we can control our mind. If we can control our mind, we can control our mouth and appendages. What gets us in trouble? Mm-hmm. Our mouth and appendages. Mine. My mouth and my appendages get me in trouble.
Sure, we all have that, you know. I mean, that's why I practice meditation. I woke up this morning and went to my altar and did my meditation. And it's, you know, our bodies are craving to hear our breath. Mm-hmm. That our bodies need to hear the breath. And boy, what a beautiful way to wake up, right? So we talked earlier in the year, it begins the moment, the self-love begins. Being your own Valentine can be every day, not just the Hallmark holiday. Exactly. So, right? So it's every day, and it's laying there in bed with gratitude before the eyes open and just being present what is around you. And we talked a little bit about that, from the dogs being in your bed, if they are, or that may not be great for somebody, but for me and my husband, it's wonderful.
Right, exactly.
So, but just other things in our lives. Be grateful for the breath that you woke up with, this beautiful breath. Mm-hmm. And I love what you said last month, or in January. Yeah, it was last month already. Getting out literally on the right foot.
Mm-hmm. Stepping out on the right foot. Yeah,
stepping out on the right foot. And that sets you up for a beautiful day. So what are some other things that people can do, and little tasks they can do for self-love? Like a bath, right. You know, a salt bath.
A salt bath, or even drawing a bath and putting some essential oil, or, you know, having a small piece of chocolate and just letting it melt on your tongue and letting it be luxurious. Or
can we have red wine with that?
Occasionally.
Occasionally.
And so then also, you know, burning incense, or you know, keeping flowers near you. You know, they're easy, simple things that remind us of our connection to nature. You know, so once again, when we are not feeling love, it's because we're disconnected from nature. We are nature. We are of the same 5 elements that everything in nature is. So be out in nature. Go take your shoes off, walk in grass.
Oh, yes.
Just
being grounded.
Being grounded, yes.
Just talk about that. Why is that so important for people? To take their shoes off and literally step in the grass.
Step in the grass.
Or sand or whatever.
Yeah, I mean, to be connected from the earth. Because if we always constantly have like a layer of rubber or leather or plastic between ourselves, or even concrete between ourselves and the ground, we cannot make that connection with our mother. And then when we lose that connection, you know, but then also we've got Father Sky. Mm-hmm. Make connections with the clouds. Like, when was the last time that you just looked at the clouds? We live in Arizona that has, like, hands down, the most beautiful sunsets.
Right.
And sunrises. I mean, unbelievable. And just to, like, the other day, walking out of Whole Foods and just looking and just being awestruck with the artistry.
You know, you're saying this, and this happened this weekend. I was in Cancun, and I was doing a yoga class on the beach with some of my friends, and we were looking up, my friend Mark, he's so great, and he's like, look up right now, and you see this layer of clouds, and he's also a pilot, so he's looking at the layer that was way above, but then these beautiful clouds, just gorgeous. It was so fun. It reminded me of being a little kid and then seeing shapes in the clouds and how fast they moved. And that brought so much joy. Mm-hmm. We were like kids, you know, we're almost, well, I won't even get into the age part, but, you know, it was so fun because when was the last time I laid down and looked up at the clouds?
Right.
I hadn't done that in a long time.
Right. So taking time, it's being aware, it's creating space, creating time in your day. So I allot about 2.5 hours a day. 2.5 hours a day. It's 10% of my day to my practices for myself with a capital S. So I consider it my tithing.
Oh, that's beautiful. And so what that means that people will go, oh, I don't have time. So excuses are, you know, everybody's got them, right? Mm-hmm. But what do you say about that?
Yeah. So schedule it. Yeah, I mean,
Wake up
write
early.
it in your book as a schedule, as an appointment for you. My dedicated time is an appointment. It's just as important, if not more important, for me to do these, as we talked earlier, the Dinacharyas, we spoke in January, the Ayurvedic daily practices of lovingly give myself a full body massage, work with my neti pot, use some nasya oil, perhaps do a scalp massage, whatever it's going to be, and then prepare myself to roll out my mat, do some movement, move the cerebral spinal fluid, get that moving, work with the breath, and then do my sit, do some mantra. Mantra is another amazing, amazing, powerful way for us to feed ourselves. Mantra is that which protects the mind, literally. And especially circling back around to that self-talk, being aware, and when you notice that you're doing the negative self-talk or that negative old story is coming in, my go-to, asatoma satgamaya, tamasoma jyotir gamaya, mrityurmam amritam gamaya, om shanti shanti shanti. Lead me from unreality to reality. Lead me from darkness to light. Lead me from death to immortality. So then it turns into this act of surrender, of my mind is doing this, I give it up. I give it up. So just giving it up every moment, every breath.
It changes the cells of the body too.
Yeah.
I mean, with mantras, it's a whole nother dynamic, but it is a vibration that's we're all energy, and it is very soothing. I would love that mantra.
Oh, sure. Absolutely. Yeah.
I can post it in the comments too. Jonathan, thank you for joining us this morning. I know you are so into health and well-being, and he's all the way in Guadalajara.
Oh.
So,
hi.
Yeah, so thanks for being on this morning, and with a new baby and a lovely wife, and finding that time to connect and to find the time to be still. It can also, self-love can be as simple as, reading a book, making a cup of tea or a cup of coffee, whatever it is that you like to drink, and, even going to a restaurant by yourself or a movie by
Feeding yourself.
Mm-hmm.
Feeding the tissues of your body. So in Ayurveda, the word for nutrition, ahara. So ahara is anything that you take in with any of the five senses. So in the West, we typically think of nutrition as proteins and carbohydrates and lipids and all of those. But in Ayurveda, anything that you take in with any of the five senses, so anything you see, touch, feel, hear, or smell, that is nutrition. So being acutely mindful of what your senses are taking in, turning off that television in the background, not allowing that vibration to come in, giving yourself the space of silence, driving in your car and just being silent. It's truly a beautiful thing. I know that I have a hammock in my backyard. I call it my outside office that sometimes I return emails in. But in the middle of the day, between clients, I'll just go and take 5 minutes and lay in my hammock. One of my dog Penny usually wants to be in the hammock with me.
She's so cute. Oh, love her.
And so she gets in the hammock with me, and I just lie there. And again, I look at the sky, I look at the trees, and I feel gratitude that I have the ability. I mean, it's so much gratitude to have the ability to see, to hear. Gratitude for my senses. So gratitude is another huge aspect of self-love. Becoming acquainted with yourself with a capital S, the undying self. And that's the self that we want to love. But we love our physical, we love our mental, we love our emotional self to be able to have the ability to tap in and recognize our true self.
Absolutely. And even touching, hugging, not just hugging others, but hugging yourself. But there's, even when you're hugging someone, really hugging them for longer than 2 seconds, a 15-second hug, there are things that are physically changing inside the body. Your beautiful serotonins, and we all feel better when we hug
it affects
people.
the hormones.
Yeah, I need to hug you right now.
Yeah.
Heart to heart hugs,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
So that's so, thank you. This has been so wonderful to, it's just to get present in our lives in the simplest way. Journaling is self-love.
And I actually wrote an article, maybe it was last February for my newsletter. I actually wrote an article about the habit of literally looking yourself in the mirror, in the eyes, and saying, I love you. I mean, looking deeply into your eyes, I love you. Loving yourself. Standing naked in front of the mirror and looking at your entire body and not having negative thoughts.
Exactly.
Love your body.
It's taken me a long time to get there, but I can do that.
Yeah.
But I need to do that more. I don't pay attention to that part of it usually, but even just loving where we are in our life and our bodies for where they are. We don't have to be perfect. We can have a little paunch or whatever, but just loving this gorgeous body.
Because it responds. The tissues respond to the emotions. Smiling is so important. Paramahamsa Yogananda has this fantastic quote that he says, a genuine smile sends the healing power of prana to every cell in the body.
Say that again.
Yeah. A genuine smile. So a genuine smile coming from the heart.
Yeah.
It sends the healing presence of prana through to every cell. The healing presence of prana to every cell in the body.
And that's life. Prana is life.
Vital life energy.
Yeah, so that's beautiful. Just finding calm in your heart, finding things that make you happy, taking a walk with your dogs, taking a neighbor's walk, like going to your neighbor and knocking on their door and saying, they probably think you're crazy and who cares, right? I'd love to walk your dog for you today. Or if you know somebody's struggling, if you have a neighbor that is actually going through some things, what can we do to make that better?
How can we serve?
How can we serve? How can we serve our children more? Especially mine now that they're getting older and I feel like they're, they pretty much got it down, but they don't. So it's constant, constant connections.
Yeah.
You have some things coming up.
I do, actually.
That are really about helping you. Is it blurry? Looks like it's blurry today. Maybe it's just the soft focus. So Lorilee has a few workshops coming up in the Phoenix area. And really, this is a great way to start your intention for self-love or just to keep nurturing that you're already doing.
Yeah. Not so blurry once we have our glasses on.
Oh, is that it? Oh, hark.
So,
laughing is also good.
Oh my gosh, laughing is pure medicine. Laughing is phenomenal. So on Sunday, March 1st, I have a workshop called Eat Like a Yogi coming up, and that's going to be here at my place. And it's blending the science of Ayurveda with the 8 limbs. Nice. So it's understanding, because they're sister sciences intended to be practiced simultaneously.
So for those that may not know what the 8 limbs of yoga are, do you want to briefly just kind of overview? Not that you have to say them all.
No, sure. The 8 limbs, we have the yamas and the niyamas, and we have asana, and we have pranayama, and we have pratyahara, and we have pratyahara, then we have
dharma.
Yeah, pratyahara, dharna,
and dhyana,
and samadhi.
Samadhi. Yeah. And what that means basically in general is being true to yourself, being loving and kind, non-violent thoughts, non-negative thoughts, serving community, getting, asanas, yoga is about 10% of the physical portion, but also getting ready to get quiet and meditate.
Turn the awareness inward, having the awareness to turn, the ability to turn the awareness inward. Then we move into a place of concentration and focus. Then the focus turns into meditation. Then the meditation turns into absorption. And the absorption is the samadhi, when we absorb with the self, which is
love.
It's
love. Yeah, beautiful.
Okay. And then I'm teaching a workshop at Yoga Pura on Sunday, March 15th from 1 to 3, and it's the principles of Ayurvedic detox. So we're going to look at all of the different ways that we detox in Ayurveda, from seasonal cleanse to intermittent fasting, panchakarma, all these different ways. And we're also going to go over the 6 stages of disease that Ayurveda teaches about, the 6 stages of disease, and what we need to look for to catch the stages early on so that we can reverse the disease process.
And that is when?
That is Sunday, March 15th.
Okay. Wow.
And then on Saturday, March 21st, at every solstice and equinox, I lead 108 sun salutations. It's a moving meditation where we infuse it. I break it up into 4 sections. So we do set 4 intentions. We set a global intention, an intention for our nation, an intention for our community, and then a personal intention that we want to carry through that season. And that's at Metta Yoga at 40th Street in Thomas. That's 6:30 to 8:30 on Saturday, March 21st. And then afterwards, we have a little social time. We have beverages and snacks and whatever, and we just kind of hang out. And then March 22nd, the next day, I will be leading the spring cleanse principles to cleansing in the spring, which are different than how we cleanse in the fall. Mm-hmm. So very much focused on the lymphatic system and cleansing the lymphatic system. And then, of course, this summer, if you want to escape the heat of Arizona and come to India with me, 21 to 28 days, depending on what's appropriate for you and what's best for you, in an Ayurvedic clinic, receiving panchakarma, which is the deep Ayurvedic cleanse where you are cared for. They bathe you. They literally bathe you. You get off the table, they take you in, and they bathe you. They feed you. You are staying in an Ayurvedic forest. It is remarkable. And I do this once a year. I take a group, very small. The largest group I will take is 8 people, between 6 to 8 people, because I'm also receiving treatment. And so I want to be able to receive treatment and hold space and advise my folks that I bring with me as well.
That is definitely on my bucket list for sure.
Remarkable.
I will be there someday. I know that. I know that. That sounds remarkable. So I think that's really good for just getting quiet, thinking about that, what self-love, self-care is, watching this again, and just taking minute little mindful movements towards your heart happiness, and because it will affect everything. Everything in your life, I promise.
Just staying in the heart. And even, it's such a simple practice. It's just to put your hand on your heart, just to draw awareness there and breathe into the heart. And just, you feel the chemistry in your body change. You just do. So have a wonderful Valentine's Day. Love yourself so that you can love everyone around you, because we aren't capable of loving anyone else until we have our own self-love.
Oh, that is so true. Thank you. Thanks for saying that. And I want to do, if you're in Phoenix, today is also the farmer's market. So it's Wednesday at the one at Central and Bethany Home, and it's really beautiful. So that's also self-love, is getting healthy food and just walking around and mingling and smiling at people, right? We talked about the power of a smile. You can make
eye contact.
Yeah. Oh, eye contact is huge. Yeah. It really is. And, there are things that change when you do eye contact. And a lot of times in yoga, we'll do soul gazing. And the first time I ever did soul gazing, I was very uncomfortable. And then once you start doing it, you are really getting into the heart and soul of a person. And there is a real connection. And the more observant you get with this, it changes conversation and relationships. And I mean, how many times have we been with people, and myself included, where you're just not connecting with people and you're just listening? You can see that. I'm very in tune with that now. And I really try to make that happen better with people. But you'll see there are people out there that are not comfortable. So I invite you to do an exercise with somebody, even your partner. When is the last time you looked in your partner into the eyes, like really looked at them and gazed and saw them for who they are? Because really the window of our soul is right through here, right? So, oh, that's beautiful. I love you.
Love you too.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
And go give somebody a massive hug today for a long time. Love you guys. Oh, I was tapping the screen. There we go.